Always good to see my fellow University of Windsor alum, Bob Weeks. All right, Bob, we're just 2 weeks away from the Masters, coming off a pretty interesting tournament this weekend at the Valspar. With some big names in contention, we're going to play a little game of contender or pretender. When it comes to the Masters, let's start at the top with Viktor Hovland. Snapped a long drought with a win at the Valspar, but he admitted afterward that his game isn't actually all the way back. Is Hovland a contender or a pretender for the Masters?
You hate to say this about a guy who just won, but I think he's a pretender. And if you look at his schedule so far this year, the last 4 starts, he's gone miscut, 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 and then a win. So there's kind of some craziness to his season, but he has been going through all sorts of changes, trying to figure out a way to swing better. He's had 6 different coaches over the last year and a half. So even though he won this last week, I really think he is still mixed up. And that's not a good way to go into the Augusta National. If you are not mentally very strong and confident in your swing, you are going to get eaten up by that golf course. So I'm putting him as a pretender.
Now, Justin Thomas finished runner-up and continued a recent trend of playing some great rounds, but not being able to close the deal when it comes to tournaments. Is JT a contender or a pretender for Augusta?
I put him as a contender, and that's probably a big leap. I mean, he's missed the cut the last 2 times he's played at the Masters, but he does have 4 top 10s this year. So we're looking at the glass half full, the glass half empty. As you were saying, he hasn't been able to close out any of those, but he is still playing much better golf than he did, say, a year ago. And the one reason I'm really kind of confident about him as a contender is that he has the best putting average on the PGA Tour. If you can putt well, that will go a long way for you at the Masters. We know it's all about those slick greens, the uphills, the downhills. And so if you can keep that putter warmed up, I think there's a good chance he might be around on Sunday afternoon.
All right, drive for show, putt for dough. What about world number 3, Xander Schauffele? It's been a rough go for him since returning from a rib injury, but he did post a T12 finish this weekend. Is Xander a contender or a pretender for the Masters?
I'm going with pretender on him. As you said, he had that T12 finish. That's kind of the first signs of life because he had this rib injury. And anybody who knows anything about golf, if you have a rib injury, it is painful and you can't do anything. You can't putt, you can't practice. So he's really just starting his rehabilitation back to becoming a PGA Tour golfer in the last 3 or 4 weeks. And yes, he does have 3 top 10s at the Masters in the last 4 years. He has played well there, but I'm just not sure he has enough reps going for his game to keep it under control and keep the ball out of those areas where you don't want to go and to hit enough greens, because that is also one of the big keys here. And if his iron play is not as sharp as it usually was, as it was last year when he won 2 major championships, I just don't think he's going to have a chance to really be in the hunt come Sunday.
And finally, Bob, maybe the biggest enigma on tour. Tommy Fleetwood has contended in majors before, but despite how hard it may be to believe, he's still looking for his first career PGA Tour win. Is Tommy Fleetwood a contender or a pretender for this year's first major?
I've got him as a contender. I think that Tommy Fleetwood is overdue, and what a way to get your first PGA Tour win than with a green jacket along with it. Now, he has won in Europe, and he has played in Ryder Cups and won and been a very much of an impact player. So it's not like he hasn't been in the limelight before. His season this year is pretty solid. He's got 5 finishes, all inside the top 22. He's got a couple of top 10s in there, and he's actually played pretty well at the Augusta National. The only thing is his final rounds, he has only bettered the score of 73 once in 8 appearances, and that was last year. He shot 69. Every other final round at Augusta National has been 73 or higher. He needs to have better rounds and better scores, especially on Sunday, because, Jermain, we know that the Masters never starts until the back 9 on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is quickly approaching, Bob, the time where everybody is jealous of you because you'll be in Augusta in less than 2 weeks' time covering the Masters for us, TSN. Thanks for this, Bobby.